Welcome to Midnight in Paris, a New Year's romance. A captivating tale set in the City of Lights, in this cozy dream of as transport you to a world filled with art, love, and the promise of new beginnings. Picture a chilly Parisian night where the air is filled with anticipation as the city welcomes the new year. Four lives, each at a crossroads, unknowingly begin to weave together in the most unexpected ways. As midnight approaches, the city's magic sets the stage for a night of revelations and connections. Hearts open, dreams awaken. Then the beauty of Paris shines brighter than ever. On a breathtaking rooftop, they usher in the new year, their conversations opening their hearts to new possibilities. Wishes exchanged create a bond that shapes their journeys ahead. Join us in this cozy dream, where dreams take flight, hearts find solace, and lives find new paths. Sweet dreams, dear listener, and may your night be as enchanting as a midnight in Paris. Chapter 1. The Eve of Hopes. The chilly Parisian air was filled with the buzz of anticipation, as the city prepared to bid farewell to the old year and welcome the new. In the heart of the city, near the iconic Louvre Museum, Elise, a young and passionate artist, was setting up her easel. Her fingers, though numb from the cold, moved deftly as she began to capture the vibrant energy of the city on her canvas. Meanwhile, across the city in a quaint, cozy cafe, Julian, a heartbroken writer, nursed a steaming cup of coffee. The cafe, a place where he often sought refuge to write, felt unusually oppressive that day. Memories of his lost love seemed to haunt him more than usual, perhaps intensified by the romanticism of the season. In another part of Paris, Emily, an American tourist with wide, hope eyes, walked along the Seine. She was enchanted by the city's beauty and the festive air that seemed to promise new beginnings. This trip was meant a holiday for her. It was her journey to find herself after years of feeling lost in an anonymity of her life back home. Not far from where Emily strolled, Mark, the owner of a popular Parisian cafe, was bustling around preparing for the evening celebrations. His cafe was a hub for locals and tourists alike, and he took pride in being part of their Parisian experiences. However brief, as the day progressed, Elise found herself dissatisfied with her painting. Seeking inspiration, she decided to walk along the Seine. But was there she bumped into Emily, quite literally, as she was too engrossed in the city's beauty to watch where she was going. "Ici suis désolée," Elise exclaimed, helping Emily gather her belongings. "That's okay, no harm done," Emily replied, smiling. The two struck up a conversation, finding an instant connection in their shared love for art. Julian, seeking a change of scenery, wandered into Mark's cafe, hoping an environment might stir his creative juices. Mark, recognizing Julian, greeted him warmly and offered his favorite corner table. As the hours passed, the city's energy grew more palpable. Elise invited Emily to join her at a local art gallery's New Year's Eve event. Julian, inspired by the liveliness around him, began to write again, his words flowing effortlessly for the first time in months. And Mark, ever the gracious host, ensured that every guest at his cafe felt the magic of Parisian hospitality. As midnight approached, these four leaves, each at a crossroads, unknowingly began to weave together, setting the stage for a night that promised to be unforgettable. As the evening wore on, the art gallery buzzed with a chatter of guests admiring the vibrant works on display. Elise, feeling more at ease in this familiar environment, introduced Emily to a different world of Paris, one filled with bold colors and daring expressions. Emily was captivated, seeing the city through the eyes of the artists who portrayed it. Meanwhile, Julian, feeling a renewed sense of purpose, continued to write in Mark's cafe. His gaze occasionally drifted to the window, where the festive lights of Paris danced. The words on his page spoke of love and loss, a reflection of his own heart. Back at the gallery, Elise and Emily's conversation took a deeper turn. Emily shared her reasons for visiting Paris, her search for purpose and passion in life. Elise listened intently, finding a kindred spirit in Emily. She shared her own struggles as an artist, the pressure of expectations, and her desire to create something truly meaningful. As they talked, it was Antoine, an old friend and fellow artist, whose work was being featured at the gallery. They greeted each other warmly, and soon, Emily was introduced to the charming artist. Antoine wasn't brought a new dynamic to their conversation, his views on art and life adding depth to their already engaging discussion. Across town in Ma's cafe, a tense encounter was about to happen. The woman, seeking refuge from the cold, stepped in. Her eyes met Julian's in disdain still. It was Clara, Julian's former love. The muse of his campus and her poems, the two exchanged a look of surprise and unspoken emotions. Back at the gallery, Antoine suggested they all attend a special New Year's Eve gathering at a nearby rooftop, known for its breathtaking view of the city. Elise and Emily, excited by the prospect, agreed immediately. Julian and Claire, after an initial awkward silence, began to talk. They spoke of their time apart, the path they had taken, and the unhealed wounds they both carried. Mark, observing from a distance, decided to give them privacy, sensing the importance of their conversation. As the night progressed, each of these individuals found themselves confronting their pasts, their dreams and their current realities. Paris, with its timeless charm, seemed to encourage these revelations, setting the stage for what was to come. On the rooftop, the city of Paris sprawled below them like a canvas of light and shadow. Elise, Emily, and Antoine were joined by others, all united in the anticipation of the new year. The atmosphere was electric, a mix of music, laughter, and the distant sound of celebrations echoing across the city. Elise found herself opening up to Emily about her artistic journey, speaking of the challenges and the moments of doubt that often plagued her. Emily, in turn, shared her own fears of never finding her true calling. Antoine listened, offering words of wisdom he had gleaned from his own experiences. He spoke of the importance of letting go of expectations, embracing the beauty of the unknown. His words resonated deeply with both women. Meanwhile, in the cafe, Julian and Claire's conversation had taken a turn. They spoke of their past relationship, acknowledging the mistakes and misunderstandings that led to their separation. Julie realized the weight he had been carrying, the burden of unexpressed emotions and unresolved issues. He began to understand the art of letting go, of forgiving not just Clara but himself as well. Mark, observing from afar, felt a sense of contentment. He had always believed that his cafe was more than just a place for coffee. It was a haven for healing hearts and connecting souls. Back on the rooftop, the countdown to midnight began. The group joined in, the excitement building with each passing second. As the clock struck 12, fireworks burst into the sky, illuminating the city in a spectacle of color. The crowd erupted in cheers, embracing the promise of a new year. Elise, Emily, and Antoine, standing together, felt a sense of renewal. The conversations of the night had opened their hearts to new possibilities. For Elise, it was the realization that her art didn't have to be perfect to be impactful. For Emily, it was the understanding that her journey was just beginning, and that was okay. And for Antoine, what was the reaffirmation of his belief in the power of art to connect and heal. As the fireworks continued to light up the Parisian sky, each of them made a silent promise to themselves to embrace the new year with an open heart and an open mind. As the New Year's celebrations continued on the rooftop, a twist of fate was unfolding beneath the starlit Paris sky. Elise, who had stepped aside to capture the breathtaking view of the city with her sketch, had accidentally left her phone behind, and noticing the forgotten phone, picked it up just as it started ringing. The caller ID read Remaman. Meanwhile, Julian and Clara, having reached a peaceful closure in their conversation, decided to leave the cafe together. As they walked through the streets of Paris, they reminisced about the good times they had shared, laughing at old memories. It was a bittersweet farewell, one that allowed them both to finally move on. Emily, unsure of what to do, entered Elise's phone. The voice on the other end was warm and concerned, asking if Elise was all right. Emily explained the situation and promised to return the phone to Elise. The caller, Elise's mother, thanked Emily and mentioned something that caught her attention: a New Year's Eve tradition in their family of making a wish for someone else. Intrigued, Emily found Elise, returning her phone and relaying the conversation. Elise smiled, explaining that every year they would wish for happiness and success for someone they cared about. This year, she hadn't made her wish yet. The two shared a moment of connection, realizing how fate had strangely brought them together. Back in the streets, Julian and Clara reached the Seine, watching the reflections and the fireworks in the water. It was there that they finally said their goodbyes, a moment filled with a sense of release and newfound freedom. It felt a weight lift off his shoulders, a feeling of liberation that he hadn't felt in a long time. As the night progressed, the rooftop celebration began to wind down. Elise, inspired by her mother's tradition, suggested that they each make a wish for someone else in the group. They agreed, finding a quiet corner to share their wishes in secrecy. Emily wished for Elise to find the recognition she deserved as an artist. Elise wished for Emily to discover her true passion. Antoine, moved by the sincerity of the moment, wished for both of them to find happiness and fulfillment in whatever paths they chose. This exchange of wishes, unbeknownst to them, created a bond that would shape their journeys in the days to come. As they left the rooftop, the city of Paris, with all its magic and mystery, seemed to be whispering promises of new beginnings. The first hours of the new year brought a reflective mood to the streets of Paris. Elise, Emily, and Antoine found themselves at a quaint 24-hour diner, a place that seemed untouched by time. Over cups of hot chocolate and slices of freshly baked pie, they delved into conversations about their dreams and aspirations. Elise spoke of her dream to hold her own art exhibition one day. Yes, she expressed doubts about her talent and the competitive nature of the art world. Emily listened intently, relating to Elise's fears with her own doubts about finding a meaningful direction in her life. Antoine, ever the optimist, shared stories of his early struggles as an artist. He talked about the rejections, the self-doubt, and the perseverance it took to finally get his work recognized. His words were a balm to their anxious hearts, reminding them that every successful journey was fraught with challenges. Meanwhile, Julian wandered through the empty streets, feeling a sense of liberation he'd experienced in years. The encounter with Clara had closed a painful chapter in his life, allowing him to look forward to new beginnings. He found himself outside Marina's cafe, the place where the evening had taken a significant turn. Mark, who was closing up for the night, noticed Julian and invited him in for a final cup of coffee. They talked about the night's events, and Julian shared his renewed sense of hope. Mark, in his usual philosophical manner, spoke of the importance of embracing change and finding beauty in the unexpected twists of life. Back at the diner, as dawn approached, Elise, Emily, and Antoine made a pact to support each other in pursuing their dreams. They exchanged contact information, promising to stay connected as they navigated the uncertainties of the future. With dining with its warm ambience and the comforting smell of coffee, felt like a sanctuary from the world outside. It was a place where they could express their deepest fears and highest hopes without judgment, a rare find in the hustle of city life. As they stepped out of the diner, the first light of dawn was breaking over the city. The streets of Paris, still quiet, held the promise of a new day. For Elise, Emily, and Antoine, the morning was not just the start of a new day, but the beginning of new journeys, each filled with dreams and doubts, but most importantly, hope. As the dawn crept over Paris, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, the city slowly awakened to the first day of the new year. Elise, Emily, and Antoine walked along the Seine, watching as the city of lights came to life. The air was crisp and fresh, filled with the promise of new beginnings. They found themselves at the Trottoir overlooking the Eiffel Tower. The iconic structure, bathed in the soft morning light, stood as a symbol of the enduring beauty and resilience of Paris. It was the perfect backdrop of their newfound friendship and the hopes that bloomed with the new day. Elise, inspired by the picturesque scene, took out her sketch and pad and began to draw. Emily watched in awe, seeing the city she had fallen in love with being captured through Elia's artistic lens. Antoine, gazing at the scene, felt a sense of contentment. He was proud to have played a part in bringing these two souls together. Meanwhile, Julian, having spent the night wandering the streets and reflecting on his life, arrived at the same spot. He was surprised to see Mark there, camera in hand, capturing the beauty of the sunrise. They greeted each other, sharing a mutual appreciation for the serene moment. Mark suggested they take a photo together, marking the start of a new year and new beginnings. Julian agreed, feeling a sense of camaraderie. As they posed with the Eiffel Tower in the background, Julie felt a sense of connection, not just to Mark, but to the city itself. Paris had been a witness to his heartache, and now it was a witness to his healing. Back at the Trottoir, Elise, Emily, and Antoine shared their New Year's resolutions. Elise resolved to be more confident in her art, Emily to embark on a journey of self-discovery, and Antoine to find new ways to inspire and connect with other artists. As the sun rose higher, the city stirred to life. The streets filled with people, each embarking on their own journeys. Our group of friends, bonded by a night of heartfelt conversations and shared dreams, promised to meet again to support and celebrate each other's journeys. They parted ways, each carrying a piece of that magical night with them. Elise returned to her studio, inspired to create. Emily set off to explore more of the city, her heart open to new experiences. Antoine headed to his next art project, energized by the connections he had made. And Julian, with a renewed sense of purpose, walked back to his apartment, ready to start writing a new chapter of his life. Paris, the city of lights, had once again proven its magic. It was a place where hearts could find healing, dreams could find wings, and lives could intertwine in the most unexpected yet beautiful ways.